Hello everyone, welcome back to Say What with James and Lakesia.
Say what?
And I am Lakesia.
I'm James.
And we're doing our review for the film The Amateur. We just watched that tonight. And The Amateur is a 2025 American vigilante spy action film. And it's directed by James Hawes and written by Ken Nolan. Okay. So spoiler review, if you haven't seen the film, watch the film first and come back and check out our review. But basically, The Amateur is a film about a CIA agent's wife getting K-worded and YouTube, James, and him getting vengeance basically for her death. So we basically have Charlie Hiller, and he is a very smart CIA worker who is, to put it best, a little on the nerdy side. He has a very high IQ because they made it a point to bring that up in the movie.
Yeah.
And he accidentally uncovers some information about his higher up.
Yeah, more.
With his boss.
And not too long after he recovered that, they called him in.
Well, let's not forget. Let's start off with the film starts off with him and his wife having breakfast or whatever, coffee, and she goes over to London for a business trip. He's invited to go, but he says he's working on something at work. So then he goes to work, he uncovers information about his boss. Then the very next day, or later on that evening, when his wife arrives, or later on that day when she arrives, she calls him, but he's busy at work.
And he's kind of brushed off the phone quick.
Yeah, he brushes her off. And so then he finds these like encrypted files and things. And so then the next day when he gets to work, he's called into his into Agent Moore's office, and he's like, "Oh gosh, did he discover the files that I had uncovered by mistake?" And it was actually to let him know about his wife's passing. She was basically taken as a hostage,
trying to help somebody else, and they took her.
And there were some hostages that were taken, and she was K-worded, and basically it was done to let the police know that they meant business. So he was
for them to get out.
So Charlie was very, sad, as anyone would be, but
they kind of blamed himself because he was like, every time she asked him to go or something, he don't go.
I mean, he did have a job, but they had some very sophisticated equipment. Hey, it's the CIA. They were able to access all kinds of cameras everywhere in London, traffic cameras everywhere, hotels.
Right there. He was so good. Once he got a picture of your face, they knew exactly who you were.
Well, not even with the face, with the voice recognition.
Yeah, with the voice,
put that in there and pull up who you were. So,
because he even found the main guy. The main guy had a man, you remember?
But he found him by his voice.
Yeah.
So they were doing all this stuff, and he's like, "Hey, so I basically solved the case. I have all the gentlemen who were involved in my wife's, untimely demise."
And he
the words, you got to be careful with words you use on YouTube. So her untimely demise. So he took it to his bosses, because who was the black gentleman that was helping him? What was his name?
Hendo.
And
no.
He was a trainer. That was Lawrence Fishburne. That was a trainer. But basically, he took the information, and they were like, "Oh, we already know who they are. We have all this information. We're just trying to take down the whole operation." And to Charlie, that was like unacceptable, because I want you to go.
They was gonna do it, but
how about
they
let's
knew so many
silence our
people
phone? Yes, let's silence our phone, please, sir. So they knew, because they claimed they were trying to take down the whole organization. So they had him go talk to a psychiatrist or a shrink or a therapist or whoever. And, you know, he was like, he's sad, he's angry, he's grieving, he's this, he's that. And I actually felt like maybe it was some bigger things at play here. Like maybe it was all a setup, a sting operation. Maybe she really wasn't, you know, gone. Maybe she really was undercover or something. But he talks them into training him as like.
Well, they only did that because
he blackmailed him.
Yeah,
with the information that he had.
And plus, old boy he was like, it wouldn't hurt nothing because he just go ahead and let
Well,
him
they were letting him do that so that they could go and find out if his bluff was really. Yeah. They was trying to call his bluff.
Because he said if you did something to him, he was every few hours or something.
It would get sent to the mail
to the director.
No, it would get a link to the media, the news outlets. So they let him do it. Let Lawrence Fishburne train him, and Lawrence Fishburne was like, when they went to the range to do the shooting, he was like, "You terrible. Unless you point blank on them, you're not gonna get him." But
he was terrible, but he was real smart.
Yeah.
And the one thing he could do was
make bombs.
Yeah, he could do that. Yeah, he was good at that.
So, yeah. I mean, he ended up, getting his fake passports and all this stuff and going over to find the lady Gretchen, who was in Paris, tracked her down, found out that, actually, he was, and this is why YouTube could be good and bad, but he was watching a video on how to pick a lock. Yeah. And he went in her apartment. And basically, he found out that she had allergies, and he was torturing her at her appointment to try to find the guy's name who she was with. But poor lady ended up running out the clinic, getting.
So when he did let her out, she
dogged him. She dogged him. I was like, there's no way that he can't handle this lady, that he's going to be able to handle these guys. Yeah. So he ends up chasing her. She gets struck by a van. And then he takes her phone and he flees to Marsala, where Lawrence Fishburne, Henderson.
His real name was Henderson. He called him Hendy.
Corners him in a bar. But then he's great with explosives. He sets off a bomb and gets away. Then he goes and he was tracked by the lady Gretchen's phone. So then he ends up going to Madrid in Spain, and he basically he hooked up with the lady that he was talking to at the beginning, and she
would break down
in Quilleen, an anonymous source, and basically she had actually taken over that that name or whatever from her late husband, and so she was working with him to help him. He goes to Madrid, and they had a rooftop pool. It was bad. Okay, you wouldn't catch me in it, but it was bad. So
he took all the what was it?
Well, he basically blew the pool up, and he was trying to get the guy to tell him the other guy's name, but the lady was helping him, and he ended up going to her house, and of course they get the cover gets blown. They find out where they are. He gets this poor lady K-worded, and it's just sad. So then he tracks down Elish in Romania, and they're on the boat, and he's just like, look, your wife was, it was nothing personal. I just had to make a point.
That was the one guy he was looking at. His name was actually Horst Schiller.
He was like, I just got to make a point.
Yeah, that's
so again, spoiler alert. So he said, I have to make a point. And so he was like, you're not a K-worder. You're not like me. He gave him the gun just like Lawrence Fishburne did. And he was like, you can't, they emptied out the gun or whatever, left, I guess, one in the chamber, whatever. But, and he was like, well, yeah, I just want to see that look in your face. But homeboy was bad.
Well, he was just killing time with him anyway, because he was getting to Finland. They were getting to Finland borders.
You're off the camera. Yeah.
That Finland Navy got him.
Well, basically, he had, because he was part of the CIA and the CIA had provided the technology that he was using on his boat, he had overrode the code or whatever.
Yeah.
And he took over the boat, drove it to Finland, and sent the information to the authorities in Finland. And, you know, they was...
He blew up the whole spot, basically. Took down his
boss,
yeah.
which was his boss's name was Alex Moore.
Yeah, Moore.
And the director, Samantha O'Brien, she was like, look, I told y'all at the beginning, I wasn't playing. We're not dealing with corruption here, there, anywhere. They all, you know, got arrested. And he did avenge his wife's death, but at what cost? Because you made the other lady lose her life. So, I mean, I felt like it was all right.
Good, man.
Yeah, for the person that caught them some brief winks while we were in there. But, I mean, I felt like it was all right. It definitely, I thought it could have been better. But did you see The Amateur? What did you think? And I'm sorry, but those crying scenes, I mean, James actually thought I was crying in the movie, but his acting really, you know, it was all right. I'm just going to leave it at that. But if you saw The Amateur, what did you think? Let us know. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Peace.
Peace.